There are four types of search intents for those people who have no idea about. The first one is informational driven, where you are just trying to get answer to your question. You're not ready to, or you haven't even thought about buying anything as of yet. You're just trying to
Mhm.
collect information. Then we have navigational, where if I'm looking for Walmart stores near me, I would search for this particular kind of a keyword. So that's navigational. That would pull up my maps and help me reach my destination. So that's navigational intent based search. Then we have commercial search based intent. That's when I am actually confused as to, should I buy a product from Amazon or should I buy a product from Best Buy? So that's comparison that's happening. Although I am going to purchase, but I'm not quite sure from where exactly I'm going to purchase. So that's my commercial driven search intent. And then finally we have transactional, where I have decided, oh, that okay, I'm going to buy this product from this particular site. So when we talk about AI extracting out the information and people feeling that okay, there's no point in running SEO campaigns anymore because people are not going to click on our site, it's only for those informational driven search intents, not for commercial and transactional. Because when they want to purchase, they will have to click on your site, complete the checkout process, and then get the service or the product that they are looking for.
Yo, my fellow hustlers, how is your day going? I've missed y'all. Hopefully, y'all missed me as well. Actually, it hasn't been that long since our last show, but let's just go ahead and roll with this. But in this podcast, as you know, I'm your host, Elijah Bilel from the Side Hustler Society. And this podcast, we're going to be talking about lead generation when it comes to online. We've actually talked about a lot about offline lead generation, or the information we covered heavily is biased towards helping you succeed offline, even though some of it can be applied online. And a lot of people know about the online platforms like Fiverr, Upwork, Freelancer.com. And we would assume that those are the only places you can really do any kind of online lead generation. But that's not true as long as you have some things set up. That's why I'm going to be glad to be talking with Prerak, because he has kind of mastered the art of generating leads online, both with those platforms to some degree, but also more importantly, outside of those platforms. Prerak is the founder of NetMafia, a web design and SEO agency, and an established educator on Udemy, with courses ranging from full stack MERN development to local SEO and WordPress development. With a passion for helping businesses enhance their online presence, Prerak specializes in using AI tools to drive impactful SEO strategies, particularly for small businesses. He is also a content creator on YouTube where he shares his entrepreneurial journey, offering valuable insights into web design, SEO, and digital marketing. So let's go ahead and hop into the show so we can start talking about how you can start generating leads online.
Welcome to the Side Hustlers Society podcast, the place where you can find out more about the hustles that are best for you. And of course, make more money in the process. Elijah has been in the gig economy and freelance space for over 8 years and has done over 4,000 deliveries on Uber Eats. Has several video editing clients, many properties on Airbnb, runs multiple YouTube channels, and is the author of the best-selling book, The Anatomy of Financial Success. It's his mission to empower people with the tools needed to be successful. Now, welcome your host, the king of the side hustles, Elijah Bilel.
All right, we're on. Correct. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great, man. Thank you so much, Elijah, for having me on your show. I was really looking forward to it.
Hey, no problem. I'm looking forward to just having a good conversation with you because we're focusing on lead generation this season, and there's multiple ways of generating lead. There's offline, there's online, there's inbound marketing, there's outbound marketing, and a lot of people really they focus on online a lot, which is fine. But when people think of online, they think of Fiverr, they think of Upwork, they think of platforms like that. And that's fine to have those in your back pocket should you need them. But I'm really trying to help people understand, other ways of generating leads for their business or their skill set outside of those platforms, because those platforms come with a number of drawbacks I'm not going to point out in this podcast because my audience knows I'm very critical of them.
You're exactly right, man.
Yeah. But with that being said, I think I have a reputation to maintain because I usually ask my guests like, "How's the weather going on over there?" So I got to ask you the same question. How's the weather over there? Is it pretty cool?
Sure, no problem. The weather over here is pretty cool, I would say. Right now, we are in the first week of February. So, so where I live, it's Mumbai. It's a coastal region in India, and most of the time we face summers and it's really hot and humid weather over here, and in the monsoon we have really heavy rains. So experiencing cool climate like around 26 degrees and 25 degrees Celsius of temperature is just in the month of December, January, and around somewhere first or second week of February. Post that we feel the hot humid summers and we have rains.
Hmm. Okay. What is the because we use a Fahrenheit here in America, so I'm wondering like
Mhm.
what is 20 degrees Celsius in a Fahrenheit? I don't remember the exact calculation, but
78, I think 78 would be 78.8 would be what Fahrenheit would be.
okay, gotcha. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
not too bad. Well, I
That's
yeah.
that's when we are experiencing our winters.
Oh, wow. So y'all
Yeah.
have warm winters.
Yes.
Oh, wow. So when you think of it like that, the wintertime is kind of like literally a breather compared to the rest of the year, huh?
I guess so. Because over here, even in these temperatures, we pull out our hoodies and sweatshirts and jackets. We are not too used to very cool weather.
I can kind of relate to that because I stay in Texas in America, and it's a pretty hot state. But at
Hmm.
least once a year, strangely enough, we get hit with a winter storm, which is
Hmm.
so weird. And our structure isn't used to it, so we have to try and make some accommodation to the utility systems. And schools are shut down versus in other parts of the country they're used to dealing with the cold. They have salt trucks that lay salt on the roads and all that kind of thing. So things keep trucking like normal, but us like civilization stops until the storm is finished. It's always interesting to see how different places adapt to the weather when it's out abnormal. But yeah, I'm not gonna spend too much time on the weather because some people will be like, "Yo, Elijah, get into it, get into it." Fair enough, fair enough. So I would ask you, right off the bat, you're the founder of a company called NetMafia, right?
That's right.
So you want to tell us a little more about that? Because I like the name. It is a very catchy name for obvious reasons.
Yes, yes. So my journey starts way back in 2020 when I was 18 years old and the COVID pandemic had hit just worldwide. And India, where I stay, there was a nationwide lockdown for about a year and a half, and it was really challenging time for all of us. So many of us faced really low time. Pretty people were pretty depressed because they were being fired from their jobs. But I, who was a student at the time, saw this as a blessing in disguise because I felt that maybe this is a rare opportunity for me to rise and shine. And while I was pursuing my engineering, I knew that I have to develop new skills because post this pandemic, times are going to change. People, recruiters are going to expect a lot more than what they're expecting right now. So we have to develop our skills. So I lean towards online learning. I turned towards Udemy, took my first course, although I didn't grasp everything out of it. But what I did realize is that in Udemy, I do have an option to teach on that platform. So that got me thinking that is that so easy to teach on these kind of platforms? Because I had this kind of an impression that only university level professors and someone who is running their own software companies and who has won some big accolades only are allowed to create and publish their courses on these marketplaces. So as I tried to explore more and more, it actually came to me that it's not that difficult, and that got me thinking that maybe I should give it a shot and just teach what I'm passionate about and what I already have learned during my college semesters. And the only thing that came to my mind was C++, which is actually a programming language. So I spent the next 8 9 months or so teaching, filming this entire course, learning about video editing, learning about graphic designing, how to be camera confident, how to actually leverage SEO to sell your course in a passive way. Because at the end of the day, your course is a digital product. It's a pre-recorded course. So if you want to sell it in the back end and not actively put so much effort into it, you would have to optimize in a way that it ranks on the searches and your course sells while you're still sleeping, right? So that's what a side hustle actually started. And that side hustle actually helped me to get freelance projects in web design, because I was also developing other courses on web design as I was learning through my college semesters. And as part of my college curriculum, I was supposed to do internships in different companies. And that's when I got exposed to SEO at a very big scale, and also into software development, testing, and project management a little bit. And that's when I realized that even though my dream when I pursued my education in engineering, my dream was something else. I wanted to do a 9 to 5 software development job, but I didn't quite enjoy coding in the company while I was interning. So that got me thinking that it's not something that I would do for the rest of my life. Maybe entrepreneurship in marketing is something that I would love to do. So that's when I decided that, okay, I'll start my own agency, I'll start my own marketing company. And in the last semester of my college, I basically did the whole paperwork and started my company. So that's my journey. I know it's pretty big answer for your question, short question, but that has been my journey so far.
As far as I'm concerned, there's never too much of an extensive answer for anything. I mean,
Thank you.
yeah, I actually remember taking a lot of courses on Udemy back in the day,
Hmm.
and I'm actually kind of curious. Like, so when you were doing the Udemy thing, how how was the pay structure? Not like necessarily details, but do you
Hmm.
feel like it was fair? Do you feel like they're taking like a pretty big cut?
Yeah, they do take a pretty big cut. For each and every sale as an instructor, you just get about 37% of the sale price at which the student
Ooh,
purchased the course.
that's
So it
brutal.
might, yeah,
37%.
I know it might feel brutal, but it's a side hustle. You can't just, if you don't have an actual audience and you're just starting out and you want to monetize your content pretty quickly, I think that is a pretty good strategy to start with. If you have an existing audience base through podcasts, through YouTube, through your blog posts, through your social media channels, then probably hosting your course on Udemy or other platforms like Skillshare might not be the best bet for you. Maybe self-hosting your own course on your website or leveraging other platforms might be the best thing, but not Udemy. Udemy is something which will help you get the first audience and help you become a better instructor, because when you're just starting out, you wouldn't know what your course content is like as an instructor, you might just feel that it's 100% best, but for the student it might not be the best. And you should be open to have that, um you should have that open mind and have that willing to take on that constructive criticism and be willing to develop better and a higher quality content course in the future.
This really reminds me of this YouTube video that I watched. It was a few years ago, but he had a
Hmm.
very Machiavellian way of looking at things like this. You're probably familiar with Skillshare, and Skillshare is actually a Udemy competitor, but they're
Yeah,
essentially the Netflix of learning, and
exactly.
instructors get paid by watch time. So,
Watch
however
time,
much,
every minute
yeah.
they get, instructors get paid around point 0.2 to about $0.8, so it's about 2 to 8 cents a minute per watch. See, from someone who lives in India, the conversion rate from dollar to rupees is much higher. So for
Mhm.
me, it's really good to have some sort of passive income like this. But someone who lives in the US, Canada, or Europe, it might not be the best thing for them, and to spend hours and hours every single week to produce such a high quality content and learning different skills like editing, graphic designing, SEO, and then developing your own course and having that source material and packaging it in a way that it stands out from the already existing top performing course contents. So
Mhm.
it depends.
Well,
Everyone would have opinions about it, as you rightly said, that someone on YouTube, even I have come across many other uh, instructors who are already teachers on these platforms. They have the YouTube channels and they don't have always good things to say about Udemy and Skillshare. But for me, things are pretty different. I don't like to look at
where
in
I
a
was
way
going with
from
that,
just a monetary perspective.
yeah, but where I was going with that, what the guy was saying is he actually encourages for you to put your course on Skillshare. But the
Okay.
way he's looking at it is, hey, look, he breaks down, the percentage, and there's an opportunity cost, because
Mm-hmm.
essentially you could be making all the money, but you're sharing a bunch of revenue with these platforms. But one thing they offer is they give you the audience, and people are going to start taking your courses, and they're gonna start giving you feedback for better or for worse in terms of constructive as well as showing what you're doing right. So put it on there and keep it on there for 1 to 2 months and make sure it's
Mm-hmm.
being promoted, all that stuff. And then the reviews will start coming in, the criticisms will start coming in, and then the pointing out of what you did right will start coming in. So you make the adjustments to the course, then put it back up there. Keep it on until you get close to being perfective, or you're always getting 5-star reviews, and then that means you've actually perfected the course. So take it off and put it on your own platform. So essentially, that's the Machiavellian part. So essentially, you're using them as a test run to just refine your course, get the feedback, and then they serve their purpose and take it off and put it on your platform. I was like, I don't know if I can argue with that. That's a pretty interesting way to approach it.
Yeah, that's really unique way. I mean, I haven't come across this kind of a strategy. I don't think I would necessarily apply to my existing courses, because I think that these are really low tier products. We have something like DIY stuff, online digital products. We have done for you, and then we have done with you. So I think the lowest tier products or services that you could offer is, it comes in the category of Udemy and Skillshare. And if you're just taking out from there and paywalling it with a higher or increased price, it might just work, but for few students, very minor group of students. But then you'll have to actively spend on your marketing efforts, and again, you're back to square one. So my
Mhm.
strategy is a bit different for that thing.
I think I'll say this and then we'll move on, but I think you kind of really focused in on something. You categorize the courses. So something that's
Hmm.
more of high tier, that's something you definitely want to eventually sell yourself. But if it's something that's closer to mid tier or low tier, the purpose really is the passive income and the feedback.
Hmm.
And it doesn't is it really worth taking on the marketing when they already have provided the audience and stuff? For something like that, it probably isn't. So just leave it on there and let it serve as passive income.
Yeah. So for um I hope I got your question correct. Your say was that the instructors, the teachers who do paywall their courses by removing from the platforms after a month or two and then just increasing the price is a good strategy that you think in the form of passive income. Is that what you think?
Oh no, it's not necessarily a question. It's just something that came
Okay.
to my mind when we got on that
Okay. Okay.
topic.
Okay. Okay.
Um, Overall, like it is deviating a little from our topic of lead generation. It'll probably fit
Hmm.
better in the next season's topic, which will probably be content creation in general. But
Hmm.
yeah, because I've had courses on Skillshare before, not Udemy, but Skillshare. So I'm pretty familiar with the payout. And when I came across that
Hmm.
video, I just found it kind of funny because I also sell courses directly on my website. So
Okay.
it really comes down to categorizing it in the right place. And if it's one of the lower tier or maybe mid tier kind of
Hmm.
courses, I think the passive income is more valuable. Just take the money. In fact, you could have these courses finance one of your bigger courses, marketing that you're selling yourself. So yeah. But we'll go ahead and move on because people they want to stay focused on like the lead generation aspect. But we've kind of already talked about this to some degree. But in your opinion, like what are some good ways that you can generate leads online without relying on like platforms like Fiverr or Upwork for your small business or for freelancers?
Sure. So when we talk about generating leads, there are multiple ways that you could do so in today's time. I mean, there is social media. Obviously, we have paid ads going on for a very long time. But the oldest strategy, which is still relevant today's date, is search engine optimization, wherein you actually create a really high engaging content piece. Um, I would say satisfying the needs of the user search intent. And then you actually try to get traffic back to your site, and then you collect their email addresses. You then do your promotions And that's a good way, because that's the way you get not just leads, but I would say high qualified leads. Because when someone is searching for a particular question, let's just say I'm trying to maybe understand how should I increase my profit margins for my business, so I'm just going to search on Google, right? And the top results that might just pop up on my screen, I'm more likely to click on them. And if they're ranking organically, I am an organic visitor through their SEO efforts, right? And after reading the blog post and after reading other articles that they have published on their site, I am more likely to trust their company, their brand, and willing to put in my email address. And maybe even in the future, I might just even buy their product or service. So I think generating leads not just through an SME standpoint, but also from local businesses, I think SEO is a really long term way strategy to generate leads on an autopilot mode and get high qualified leads, which would buy even premium products or services from you. If you're going the route of a PPC ad campaign where you are showing up your listings, your web pages for, and you're paying for each and every click, that's a short term thing and you'll get instantaneous results. Might not be the same case with SEO. For social media, it's a different thing. You are leveraging video aspect of it, and you are generating your leads through those platforms. So I think there isn't just one way. There is, as Warren Buffett says, that you shouldn't just invest all your eggs in one basket. So in terms of marketing and lead generation, it should not be just inbound and through one marketing strategy only. It should be outbound, inbound, and a combination of all those different things. You should do cold calling, you should do cold emailing, you should have a lead list, and there are so many other things that can just happen once you have all the pieces, and the puzzles fit in the entire jigsaw puzzle.
Okay. So it sounds like the overall structure of what you're saying is you produce content, whether it be audio content, written content, or video content, and you build
Yeah,
enough trust to where the person trusts you. You have some way to get them on your email list. Then from there, you can engage in email marketing, and at some point, they'll be more likely to purchase your service.
exactly, because that's what even all brands like even Amazon, that's what they're doing, right? You don't necessarily get emails, you don't check the emails because they land up in your promotions tab, but when you download their application and you buy products, you are going to see notifications if you have and disable the notifications from Amazon. So that's what they are doing. When you have an application, you rely on notifications as your way of promoting your services and products. But you can't just do, when you have a website, you can leverage email marketing. So I think leveraging these different things is a really great strategy to get started with.
Okay.
And not just, you couldn't just do with creating content, because gone are the days where you just post high quality article or listicles on your website and expect people to just land up on your site. No, now we have AI searches, and things are evolving at a really high pace that no one has ever witnessed in the past. So it doesn't just stop over there. I would say rather it starts from creating content. But even before creating content, it is very important to do a thorough keyword research and form a map, a cluster, a topical cluster around the content pieces that you would essentially create, the topics around which you would create, and form, like, in our schools and in college education, we have different semesters and we have subjects aligned in a way that is properly formatted and structurized in a way that when we pass on to the next level, we have knowledge about the previous semesters and previous years knowledge, so that we have some prerequisite knowledge to gather something new. So that's what you do with a topical cluster that you create through a thorough keyword research. Then you produce a high quality piece of content and then get backlinks from other niche relevant sites and somewhat reverse engineer from what your competition is doing.
Gotcha. So, that's actually pretty interesting. You brought up AI in the discussion. So I'm going to share something. I'm going to share my screen. I'm thinking of
Mhm.
this right on the cusp, but I think it'll be a great teachable moment, to be honest. I'm just going to Google something just random. And what is inbound marketing? And I have my browser arranged so it goes to the web, but we're going to go to all. And
Hmm.
this is what he's talking about. You see how the first thing that pops up is
Yes, AI
something,
overviews.
yeah, which to be honest, a lot of people feel a certain way about that because a person could get the answer without going to your site.
Correct, correct.
But you're saying that the way around this is to really put some intentionality in terms of the content you're making. Because this is just one piece of a content in, let's say, a playlist on YouTube. Obviously, they
Mhm.
need the whole package, so they're more likely to go through your playlist and absorb it all. Same goes for audio, and same goes for any kind of written content. It needs to have that
Mhm.
framework of being part of something greater. Would you say that?
Yes, I really like the way you pretty much summed up the topical cluster thing into playlist, because that's what the audience might just relate to more rather than topical cluster, which might be a new word for your audience. So the thing that you just popped up your screen, AI overviews, isn't something which I think is killing SEO, because even before AI overviews and search GPT, we had featured snippets, again, an invention of Google. Its basic task was to extract out information from your FAQ section or certain pieces and parts of your blog post and show up
Mhm.
on your Google search results, right? And that was possible when the author of the blog post or article would put up the schema markup code in it. So it Google hasn't actually invented something new. Rather, I would say that it has just rebranded its featured snippet section into AI overviews. Because at the end of the day, AI doesn't have its own brain or knowledge. It's using semantic knowledge. And what does semantic knowledge mean? It means that it needs some source material to have the knowledge and then run some permutations and combinations on it and present in a way, structurized way, that answers your search intent, right? So when I ask the same question on chat GPT, maybe let's just say, what is inbound leads? That's what you typed on Google right now, is that correct?
What is inbound marketing?
Right. So before AI was there, when I used to search that search term on Google, and if you were to search that same search term on Google, we pretty much saw the same results on Google. But now with AI, there isn't 100% chances that you will see the same response generated from AI, right? AI will pretty much frame it in a way that better understands me, you. It analyzes our persona, right? When we sign up on these accounts, they take up our knowledge, who you are, what's your age, where are you based from. They take up some knowledge from you. That they are doing this because they want to present the answer in a way that will help you process that information much more faster, right? So even
Mhm.
though the core concept in that answer, the AI generated response, would be pretty much the same, the topic, the answer to that question wouldn't change, but the framing of the answer is what AI is changing every time someone else asks that question. So
Mhm.
AI again is taking the same source material from these different blog posts or articles who are actually ranking, right? So the first thing, if you want your site content to be showed up on those AI overviews or the search results, the search GPT, you will have to actually start ranking for those particular keywords. And even when it starts showing an extract piece from that entire blog post, and it will prevent people from clicking on your site, it's just for those informational intent searches, right? Not for something which is comparison based. And even when you are seeing those information related searches, you do have the citation, just like in Wikipedia. We have blue highlight with the link icon. You can just click and it will open up the entire source where it cited the information from, right? Because Google can't just claim that knowledge to be generated by its own. It has to cite the original source. So it does pull up the information on the right hand side, that okay, this is where we put up the source material, and that's why we are presenting you the answer. The search query that you just entered was pretty generic, and it was very informational driven. There are four types of search intents for those people who have no idea about. The first one is informational driven, where you are just trying to get answer to your question. You're not ready to, or you haven't even thought about buying anything as of yet. You're just trying to
Mhm.
collect information. Then we have navigational, where if I'm looking for Walmart stores near me, I would search for this particular kind of a keyword. So that's navigational. That would pull up my maps and help me reach my destination. So that's navigational intent based search. Then we have commercial search based intent. That's when I am actually confused as to should I buy a product from Amazon or should I buy a product from Best Buy. So that's comparison that's happening, although I am going to purchase, but I'm not quite sure from where exactly I'm going to purchase. So that's my commercial driven search intent. And then finally we have transactional, where I have decided, oh, that okay, I'm going to buy this product from this particular site. So when we talk about AI extracting out the information and people feeling that okay, there's no point in running SEO campaigns anymore because people are not going to click on our site, it's only for those informational driven search intents, not for commercial and transactional. Because when they want to purchase, they will have to click on your site, complete the checkout process, and then get the service or the product that they are looking for, right? And even
Mhm.
when the products would show up, it will have actually the pricing, the product images, and if they want to explore more, they would click on the actual site. Even when the AI overviews didn't come, there was the Google shopping tab, right? It would pull up all the e-commerce products. So this isn't something which prevents people from clicking. In fact, it encourages people to click more and explore about the product, read the description, check out more images, because those single tabs, the small tabs, doesn't have all the space required to fit in all the images, all the videos, all the product description, the pricing, the return day policy, the delivery, checking whether it's gonna charge you any delivery fee or not. You have to actually jump on the site to see this in depth, right? So that's what it's helping us to do, rather than not hindering our SEO performance in any way, I would say.
Hmm. I like the way you broke it down. It's essentially when you broke down the searches, that's also breaking down the different stages of essentially the
SEO funnel.
customer. Yeah. And one thing that you can take away from that is a lot of people, if they're going to spend money on any kind of SEO ads, they really should, like the information one that you mentioned, maybe they shouldn't be spending money there because that's going to have the least amount of conversion in return. Spend money on towards the end of that cycle that you mentioned to get in front of someone.
No. So I would like to correct you a little bit over here, because if you just create content around your commercial and transactional based intent, you're not completing that entire sales cycle, because Google is also using its algorithm of topical authority. So when you're just trying to sell, you're just trying to be a salesman over there and not a good salesman. There's a difference between just a salesman and being a good salesman. A good salesman wouldn't just sell its product to each and every person. If you watched the Wolf of Wall Street movie, you must be knowing about the Jordan Belfort, the person behind whom the entire movie was filmed, and he goes on saying that you don't just sell this pen to everyone. You ask the question to your potential prospect or buyer: would you need this pen? If yes, what kind of pens do you actually use? How this pen could be useful? So to actually stand out from your competition, you have to put up your informational driven search um, content first. That will actually help Google and other search engines analyze that okay, this person holds authority in this particular niche. It knows, it understands that okay, when a plumber in an HVAC industry or something like that is putting up informational driven content, also on how to fix different faucets and fix their heaters and geysers and stuff like that, and they also have service pages, and they're serving areas in Dallas or Texas, then it forms an entire chain. It's not you just focus on a part of the chain, you have to complete the entire cycle. Only then Google will start ranking your searches, and not just your informational but also your commercial and transactional based searches content.
Okay. Well, what I was referring to, I was saying if someone was going to pay for SEO, let's say Google SEO, if
Hmm.
they were going to maximize their budget, they should be making content for all of the stages. That's not
Correct.
dismissing like, hey, just make content for this stage. No, make content for all of them. But if you're going to
Hmm.
be paying for any kind of Google SEO, the ones towards the latter part of the completion of the stages, that would probably be where the budget would be best spent. Would you say
Correct.
that? Yeah.
Correct. So you have
Versus
to complete the
yeah.
content cycle, and also there are three pillars, I would say. The three tripod of SEO is the on page, we have off page, and we have technical. If one of them falls apart, it's not gonna balance, you know. So tripod is three of them has to be really strong. So on page is about your content, off page is about your backlinks. That means who is referring your website, which other websites are linking back to you. So that's basically a backlink is in a very simple terms. And you would
Mhm.
want to build backlinks on really niche relevant sites, like some sites which are, if you are in HVAC industry, you would want to get your backlinks on home, I would say home services related websites, on sites which are into similar niche and not into travel and finance and business, because that's not going to help you, even in the terms of referral traffic, and also Google analyzing where the backlinks are coming from. So
Mhm.
off page is also really important as much as the content on your website is important. And the last is the technical aspects of it. Like if as a user I saw that, okay, the content piece, this person has created a content on how to fix my leaking tap in just 5 simple steps without getting any expensive hardware, and 10 other websites are linking to the same blog post. So I might just click on that blog post, but if that blog is going to take about 10 to 15 seconds to load just the basic information, I'm not going to wait there. I'm just going to close and maybe even just click on the second or third most ranking article for that particular search term. So the technical
Mhm.
is also really important. How fast your content loads, how images are loading, the video, um
If
how
your site takes too
well.
long to load, someone will click off.
Yes, correct. So the technical aspects of your website is also really important, and not just from the user experience standpoint, but also Google analyzing and keeping that as a priority to rank also. So it's a three tripod pieces. If any one of them falls, it's not going to help you rank. And I see
Mm.
most of the SEO agencies or even freelancers, they just focus on one thing. They would either build X number of backlinks for you, or they might just create X number of articles for you, or they might just fix, your website and take you to speed score of 70-80, whereas it should have been at least a 90 or 100. So
Mhm.
the thing that we talked about freelancers and people working on Upwork, they pretty much lie in this kind of category where they are not taking into consideration of an entire holistic approach and coming up with a custom strategy, because SEO is not like a one size fits all solution. You have to come up with a
Mhm.
custom strategy for each and every niche. You have to analyze what this business does, in which location people are ranking, what is the competition looks like, how do we reverse engineer their process, and not just go around a cookie cutter solution, because that's not going to work.
Sup everyone, hopefully you're enjoying the broadcast as it's airing right now. One of the most important things that you have to get down if you're going to be a full-time hustler or even be a side hustler is the ability to identify what types of income are involved in your industry and how to create the other types. And I'm not just talking about income as in how the IRS defines them, passive income, portfolio income, etc. On a fundamental level, there are four types of income, and these four types of income are based on how active that income is and how steady or unsteady that income is. If you want to know the sciences of how to identify the different types of income, how to build those sources of income, as well as the advantages and disadvantages of each type of income, you want to get chapter 5 of my Amazon best-selling book, The Anatomy of Financial Success. In it, I talk about something I created called the money magnifier that allows you the ability to identify what types of income there are out there, what income you should be working towards based on whatever goals, objectives you have for yourself or for your business. Go to www.fachapters.com and you can get chapter 5 of The Anatomy of Financial Success for free. With that being said, let's get back to the broadcast.
Yeah, and honestly, you brought up a good point, and it's going a little in another direction, but I think the point needs to be made. You mentioned that people on Fiverr and Upwork, they're only kind of half-assing it to a certain degree, but they kind of have to because they have to get 5, 6, 7 clients in one day in order to make ends meet. Versus, and this is
Exactly.
part of the reason I'm not a big fan of these platforms, but someone like what you're setting up, you have the resources to be able to probably charge more, but you can handle fewer clients. So you can create that customized approach that does require more time, but you can really get the client what they need and set the foundation up for them.
Correct. Because for us, or maybe other agencies who working with same kind of a strategic approach, are not just thinking about delivering the end work as and selling it as a commodity, but rather as a way of coming up with a strategy that would actually help our clients, and not just standing back and raising your hands and saying that, okay, we did this job, now we are done, you paid us money and we got you the backlinks. That's not how it works. Our job is to get you leads, not business, because to convert those leads into business is the job of the business owner, right? As a marketing
Right.
agency, our job is to get the customers to your shop, but to convert those customers into paying customers is the job of a business owner. But something which freelancers don't do is this, even getting customers to your shop. So I think we pretty much are both on the same page about that matter.
Yeah. I mean, leads can equal sales, and sales equals income. And if the end
Correct.
result isn't getting you leads, then this is where, as a business owner, you can kind of get distracted by, I call it the flashy light syndrome. Look, things need to lead to one of those three things. And if it's not, yeah. So I'm glad that y'all are sincere in really providing that focused outcome. But a lot of what we've talked about kind of brings up this discussion because these have both pros and cons. We talked a lot about how a website is necessary to implement a lot of this stuff, but some people argue that a web page is actually better for freelancers because of a few reasons. One reason is a web page tends to have a higher conversion rate versus a website can give you the opportunity, like you just mentioned, to create content for clients or potential clients. In your opinion, which one is better for a freelancer, a website or a web page?
Okay, so let me just break it down very simply. A web page is just a single landing page, whereas website is a collection of all these different web pages, right? It's like a directory of different pages. So when we talk about having just a single page, it wouldn't be a web page. You are having a landing page where you're trying to convert those visitors by either embedding an opt-in form where you are offering them a freebie in exchange of their email address and SMS. And for that kind of a strategy, running an pay-per-click ad or running your Instagram stories or reels and asking people for engagement in exchange, you would send them the link to your landing page, is something that would make sense. But for long term, when a business wants to really scale at a very big level and they want to actually have multiple different products to sell, have multiple different services to sell across different locations, at that point they would want to have a website, and you cannot just rely on a single web page. Even though Google ranks based on web pages and not website, because website, as I said, is a collection of different web pages. So if I'm entering the keyword, what does link building mean, or what does informational search intent mean, it's not going to necessarily put up my netmafia.co.in homepage as my number one ranking listing for that search term. It would pull up my blog post from my website, right? So Google does understand what other web pages on your website is doing, and based on that, it ranks other web pages. But having just one page and doing SEO is not something which is practically possible.
That makes sense, especially since we're talking about online. Because I feel like a web page is great for if you're doing outbound offline marketing. So you meet someone, they've had a chance to meet you, you've had a chance to turn them into a warm lead. And it really comes down to they probably have a few questions that they want to answer. And if you're trying to systemize that, well, you make a web page that explains your services or your product. I hesitate to say product because you can't have too many. If you have too many products and services, you really need to branch off into making a website at that point. This is if you have less than 5 services or products, this is when a web page is more applicable. But just have an FAQ section on that page and a place where whatever the next step you want them to take is on there, whether it's booking a call with you or a session or purchasing. So everything can happen on that web page, and it makes it easy for people to refer to send that web page to someone else so you can get more referrals. So that's great for from what I said before, which is offline, outbound. But if you're looking to do any kind of inbound marketing online, and this is more of a long-term play, you really need to have a website in your game plan. Even if you don't have one now, in the very near future, you should be looking to have it built or build it.
Exactly. And we are always there to build websites for businesses and SMEs. So you can reach out to us.
Okay. Hey, there you go. That's the service that he provides. So I would ask that we did get into how content creation could be leveraged in this regard, and some people may be asking in particular about YouTube. How do you feel that YouTube could be leveraged for lead generation in particular?
Sure. So even I am running my own YouTube channel where I'm just documenting my journey as an entrepreneur, running my own agency. So I think YouTube is a really best way to put your business and creating not just a company profile, but rather a personal brand, because people associate with people rather than with a company or brand, which is like non-human. It's an entity. At the end of the day, a business is an entity, and people are not going to relate with that. So having a YouTube channel is really great when you're trying to build a personal brand, and when you have something which can be conveyed much better way through video format. Yes, we do have infographics, yes, we do have blog post, and incorporating all three things into one would be the best thing. Like even in different articles and different blog posts, when you embed your YouTube video, your own channel's YouTube video, not just you're going to get traffic to your website but also to your YouTube channel. So Google also ranks those websites well and web pages well, who actually very frequently embed very related video or to that content piece, because YouTube is also a search engine and it's a product of Google, and Google is the biggest search engine right now. Number one is Google, number two is YouTube. I don't know, maybe in the next few months ChatGPT is going to take up the top three results. So yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised, to be honest.
Yeah, I
But
wouldn't be surprised at all.
there's a reason Google is pumping so much income and attention into Gemini AI.
Correct.
That's funny. Yeah, but swinging back to, well, I guess we technically never left SEO, but I think a big part of a content creation, especially when you're getting started. Let's say you're just getting started, so you haven't even gotten your first few clients yet. You may not necessarily know the host of problems that they're looking to get a solution from your services. Do you have any tips for people to help find, I would say, the communities that talk about the problems that they're having, so you know where to start to find the problems that your potential clients are having, and that can inspire future content for you to make, whether it be video or blog, etc. Do you know where to find those spaces where you can get that information?
Well, there are lots of Reddit groups, there are subreddits for
Reddit was going
specific.
to come in the equation.
Pardon?
I knew Reddit was going to come in the equation. Go ahead.
Yeah, of course. Reddit is there, Facebook groups are there. Instagram doesn't have the group kind of a thing. It does have broadcast channels where there is a one-way communication, which is fine for someone who is an influencer or a personal brand having lots of followers. But I think where you have a community, Reddit, Facebook, YouTube channels like me, who have an audience who are not just looking to get about or learn about SEO, but also learning about how to start your own journey as an entrepreneur. So YouTube could be a great community building platform also, and Discord community also. So most of the YouTubers and content creators, they have their own Discord communities, right? They host their Discord channels and they invite people. So I think Discord could be a good community also.
Okay, because I think a lot of people, when they talk about lead generation, they ignore the resource, which is the internet. Well, I won't say ignore, they'll just start Googling a lot of stuff. But a lot of times these communities just offer information that could be leveraged to help you make content or even make a product or service to solve people's problems. And people's first instinct isn't to go and actually find these communities, because it's kind of like taking something like, this was a video game. You got like easy difficulty, normal difficulty, and hard difficulty. Everyone starts on normal. Well, if you just hop into these communities, it's like, hey, let's take the normal difficulty and put it on easy,
Hmm.
and that
Right.
gives us the ability to do that.
I agree. I agree. I mean, being a part of community is always great because not only you will be around like-minded people, or maybe even people who are doing a lot better than you, but sometimes for some people it might just feel intimidating because you are being thrown in a pool of people where they are having sort of conversations that you have literally no idea about. So you have to go back to Google and get some prerequisite knowledge, and without having that imposter syndrome kind of a thing where you just feel that I'm the only person in this community who has no idea about what's going on, whereas all the other people are talking about stuff which is way beyond my understanding. So I think communities are really great where you could just collaboratively work together and not just in a one way of um, importing information into your brain, but rather you're working with someone, talking through, jumping on a video call, a voice call, and things like that. So I think communities are really great in that way. It depends from person to person also, but yeah, I mean, pretty basic is someone would just go to Google and ask questions.
Right. So I would say that you may have touched on this somewhat, but in your opinion, like how are some ways that AI can be leveraged to enhance like SEO strategies
There
on
are
a
lots.
website? Yeah.
Sure, I beg your pardon for interrupting while you were still asking the question.
Oh,
You were
I was pretty much finished. I was just specifying like on a website, for instance, as an example. But yeah, go
okay,
ahead.
okay. Sure. So I think there are lots of AI tools right now. There's ChatGPT, of course, the I would say the most prodigy in the space. There's Claude, which I think comes pretty close to what it does. Gemini can be good in terms of. See, I have a, a, a special gift to share with your audience. It's an SOP guide that I specifically built. It's a 21-page long document covering everything which a small business owner can get started with SEO using different AI tools. So they can click on that link. I would share it with you. It's a small opt-in form, and they'll get access to my SOP guide where I have gone over how to leverage Gemini to do your keyword research for free. Because keyword research, when we talk about, there are some pretty much industry standard tools like Ahrefs and SEMrush, which cost around close to $150 a month. For some businesses, it might not just feel justifiable, and especially when they have no idea about how to do keyword research properly. So
Mhm.
for them, that kind of an amount of money might just feel waste. But with Gemini, they can pretty much do for free, although the results that you will see might not be 100% accurate. But the best benefit using Gemini for keyword research is that since Gemini is a product of Google, Google has Google Keyword Planner. So it integrates and communicates with Google Keyword Planner in the backend. When you ask questions about getting you, maybe let's just say 10 keywords in your niche for this location, really low difficult keywords and high search volume, so it would communicate with Google Keyword Planner in the backend and pull up the stats, which in terms of the pay per click ads, the metrics would be the same. But for SEO it might not be the same, but pretty close to what it would be for PPC aspects. So over there it's good. I go over how to create your own Google My Business profile and optimize the best possible way, because even though you don't have a website, that's fine, but create your own Google My Business profile if you are a local business and you want to attract leads through SEO, because it's a really gold mine over there. If you don't have a GMB profile, you're missing out on a lot of different opportunities. So create a GMB profile, post content on GMB as GMB post, just like how we have Facebook post and Instagram post. You can post on GMB profiles as well. Share your photos of your client work, your team members, share case studies, share your reviews make up a really good portion of ranking factor. So get positive reviews from your clients, encourage your clients to put up images in their review testimonials, and go, just go crazy with all the services products that you offer. Share the pricing that you have, add all the locations where you serve, add your phone number, add your website, and just verify your profile. So get citations. So many things that I could just go on and about, but I have documented in a very structurized format in that SOP guide. So I'm gonna share it with you later on.
Okay. And when he does share, we're going to leave it a link in the description so that y'all can take advantage of that. But I will confess that I'm actually not extremely familiar with Google Profile. It sounds like some people might criticize me for saying this. I think LinkedIn is a little outdated. It sounds like a more modern version of LinkedIn. Am I
Mm,
anywhere near that assumption or
I don't
no?
think so. No,
Okay.
because LinkedIn has a really amazing thing called as Sales Navigator, because it's a premium service that LinkedIn offers, and it allows us to connect with our dream clients that we would want to work with all around the world. So
Mhm.
we have the option to filter based on the niche, the sector, their position in the company, how long have been the part of the company, and you could just go crazy with the different filters. And the best part about having LinkedIn profile is that you're not just getting leads through your local area, but all around the world. So again, as I said in the beginning of this conversation, that it isn't something that social media is good or pay per click ads is good or SEO is a good strategy. All of them are good strategy. You have to have a really diversified portfolio of your marketing channels and go crazy with all of them if you're looking to scale in a really massive level. But when you want to start out and you are a business limited to your local area, then SEO is something which will help, specifically local SEO, where you have created your GMB profile. When you have LinkedIn might not be the best solution for an a plumber or a roofer or someone working in the HVAC industry, because their potential clients, their customers are not there searching for them on LinkedIn. But for other
Mhm.
niche, like maybe let's just say business coach or consultant, or we are talking about maybe someone who is in the how do I put it, okay, accounting firm, someone who's running a really white collar job, someone who sits in their office, who works with their clients all around the world, and they are not just limited with a specific geographical location, and their potential clients and customers are also on LinkedIn. For them, the LinkedIn is good. But for average individual who are just gonna look up for product or service on Google, SEO or pay per click ads would be a better marketing strategy to generate inbound leads. So it depends on the business niche, where your potential clients and prospects lie, and the budget of your marketing also. So it really depends.
Okay. I will say this, then we'll move on. But you brought up a good distinction between blue collar workers and white collar workers. And it's important to know your your desired customer avatar and
Hmm.
where they're going to be. And like I would bring up in this regard, TaskRabbit. And TaskRabbit is really ultimately the blue collar version of like Fiverr and Upwork. But the reason I would defend them a little, they're going to charge their fee, which is a lot. But at the very least, because of the nature of the work, you are only really paying to acquire that customer because you have to meet them in person, do the service, and anyone with a brain is going to exchange information. And that from that point, they're your customer. And even TaskRabbit even knows this, so they're not even going to get mad at you for it. They don't do it on their site, obviously. Like, hey, text me your number on TaskRabbit. Yeah, you're going to get kicked off. Then show them some respect, but yeah, I know that's kind of going off on a brief little tangent because that's not a factor in Upwork or Fiverr because you're not never going to meet the person in person, so you can never get that person's information. I'm a customer on Fiverr sometimes, and I've before I knew that they could get kicked off for this, and I stopped. I've actually tried to take the relationship off the platform. Like, hey, it'd probably be cheaper for me if we did this, off the platform, and you can make more money. And the freelancers were scared to do it. But that's kind of going off on in another direction. I just wanted to kind of point that out for the blue collar workers. TaskRabbit could actually be a good source of leads too, provided you have the intent of getting that leads information or the customer's information once you do your service for them. And most of the time, they'll be the one to bring it up. Most people know that I have Airbnbs, and to set them up, I use some people on TaskRabbit. And the first thing I ask is like, hey, do you take clients off of the TaskRabbit? Hey, let's exchange information. The next time I need that service, it's done off of TaskRabbit. But tangent aside, I would ask that what do you feel is the biggest challenge that like most freelancers face when they're trying to generate leads, and how would you recommend they overcome that challenge? Because let's say I'm a graphic designer, or I'm a
Mhm.
video editor or something like that, fresh off the boat, so to speak. I'm proficient in my skill, but haven't got any clients yet. What do you feel is the biggest challenge they face when it comes to generating leads online?
Not being able to prove your expertise in your field, because when you're new, people are going to ask for your work portfolio. Some people might just tell you to work for them for free, but as you know, really someone who is good in the niche shouldn't do, because when you're good at something you shouldn't do anything for free. So you should go about building projects just out of an example. Like, I've created a fake customer for me, and I created a website for them. Just an example that I'm giving, that what one a freelancer should do when they are just starting out, when they are facing difficulties to generate leads. So to create a work portfolio, if you can't do that, create a social presence through YouTube, through your website, post content on website, post content on your YouTube channel, post short form reels and infographic post on your LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook, wherever it could be. Just go crazy about it and be online and present on each and every one of their platforms. That's what I personally did, because that's why I am saying this about it. When I started my company, I'm still 22, I'll be turning 23 next month. So handing over a project to a business whose founder is just 22-year-old, many people are not going to trust you. They will just criticize or underestimate your age, your experience in this niche, and they might just question your pricing and stuff like that. So when you have to actually prove your expertise in this field, what I did, I built course on AI and SEO on Udemy. I got students, I got 4.85 stars on that course. For some time, the course was highest rated on the platform. I started my YouTube channel, and I was just documenting my journey and just showing what I do when it comes to building my company and when it comes to delivering and doing the actual client work. So that's how I'm building my authority and expertise in my niche and field. And when someone approaches you, when the lead is inbound, you know that they have actually come across some of your content and they have some sort of trust in you. When you are outreaching to them, they are not going to have trust in you. So it's your job to send them your profiles to of your social media, your YouTube, or maybe your courses posted on YouTube and Skillshare. Just just go crazy with posting content and being present across all the different channels on internet.
Nicely put. I mean, I'm a good example of that. I mean, when I first started YouTube, it's back when this channel, well, not this
Mhm.
channel, but the Side Hustler Society main channel, just a podcast channel, but the main channel, it was known as the App Lifestyle. And even before then, the Uber Lifestyle, where I talked about the gig economy apps like Uber and Lyft and like DoorDash or Uber Eats.
Mhm.
I made a lot of content about Uber Eats. The channel got monetized, and there's a much bigger channel called the Rideshare Guy that made a lot of content about rideshare. But he has some videos about the delivery industry, but they're kind of old and outdated. So this is outbound, but I actually reached out to him via email, basically telling him, hey, these videos are outdated. I could make I could essentially make updated versions for you. And in that email, I linked my YouTube channel. So he clicked on it and saw all the videos I made, all the views that had like, oh, okay, well, this guy hasn't had a client before, but clearly he can do the work. Well, let's do a trial run. Let's do 3 videos and see how those turn out. And, we'll go from there. We agreed on that. And those 3 videos, one of them became pitched into his top 10 videos for nearly 2 years. Then from there, he asked me, would I be open to being his video editor? All that stemmed from technically the YouTube or content creation served as a portfolio.
That's
So
really
yeah,
awesome, and congratulations to you on getting that video editing job.
appreciate it. But yeah, that's just a good example of what you said. I mean, I know how it feels to be when you're a freelancer, you just have no experience and no clients. You feel kind of powerless, but there is always something you can do. And
Of
we
course.
both given you examples of some stuff that you can do to get the ball rolling, and it will pay off. You just got to get the ball rolling.
Exactly. And the best part about posting on even on your website, you talk about YouTube, of course, at some point it will hit the monetization. You put up some affiliate links, you're going to have some, money flowing in a passive way. It's a side hustle, which will help you encourage, produce more and more content. And even on your website, you just start your Google ads, and even on your blog post, it will generate revenue for you. So what I am trying to say is that when it comes to getting clients and proving your expertise, content should be posted. And once your content starts producing money for you, it will automatically help you encourage and generate more pieces in the future. So it's like a loop that will help you keep going on and on.
Oh, nicely put. Get in that loop, and then things just keep getting easier and easier.
Exactly, it's a cannonball effect. It requires just a push. Once it push, it goes down again with the inertia. It comes up and it keeps on rolling. So like that.
Right.
And anyone who is watching this still, anyone interested in joining and seeing how I am scaling my company, they can watch my videos on YouTube. Anyone wants to get access to my SOP guide, they can click on the link in the description. They can check out my course on Udemy as well. It's pretty cheap, 5-10 bucks, and you have lifetime access to the course, 7-8 hours of video lectures, pretty nicely formatted, pretty nicely structured, and it is updated also. So you can reach out to us if you are looking to outsource your SEO work.
But I will say you're jumping ahead of the game. I was going to ask you if people wanted to get more of you, where can they find you? You gave a few examples, but is there anything else you wanted to add, like Facebook or LinkedIn or anything like that? Or
Sure,
is
I
what you said good enough?
Sure. My website is NetMafia, which is netmafia.co.in. They can find my uh, calendar over there. They can schedule an appointment with me to discuss on strategy. We can schedule a discovery call. Or else, if you'd like to check out some short form content pieces going over quick how to's, they can check out my Instagram. Again, the same, netmafia.co.in. And I'm pretty active on LinkedIn as well. You can just search for Prerak Mehta Net Mafia and you'll just find me.
Awesome. Well, I say it's been a pretty informative episode. I think I know that the audience is going to get a lot of value out of it because online marketing can be perceived as this kind of a mystery since so many people just jump on Fiverr and Upwork, and I've kind of shared my feelings about that. But this provides a great alternative from a structure perspective where we've given a lot of people somewhere to go if they actually want to build an online presence and start really generating leads and building a real business. Because if we're going to be honest, there's not really such thing as a Fiverr business or Upwork business because the
Correct.
client's not really yours. I say
Correct.
if you don't have the email or the phone number, they're not really yours, and you don't in
Correct.
those scenarios. But provided you want to put in the work, you can build an online presence and build a real business where you actually own the relationship between you and your customers, and that's what you want.
Exactly. Exactly.
So we're going to go ahead and conclude this episode of the podcast. If y'all are watching this on YouTube, give us a thumbs up for the YouTube algorithm. Greatly appreciate it. Don't forget to subscribe if you're new. And if you're watching us now on Spotify now, since they have video, drop a review or a rating on us. That'd be greatly appreciated. And be sure to check the link in the description for the resources that we talked about. We'll catch you in the next episode. Everyone be safe and be profitable.
This episode may be over, but your hustling journey has just started. Visit thesidehustlersociety.com to access all links and resources mentioned in the show that will help you on your hustler's journey.